So, I have to confess, I say I don't play video games, and I really honestly don't, but back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean back in the days of the NES and the Sega Genesis, I did play quite a lot of video games, because, that's what teenagers do. But I was pretty picky. I mean, I only played like a few games, like as far as the NES goes, or the Super NES, or Sega Genesis. I played, Mario, of course, because that came with the NES. I played, my favorite NES game was Ninja Gaiden. I liked Metroid okay. Another game that I played was Metal Gear. I remember Metal Gear was a game, the original Metal Gear on NES was a game that my dad bought for me. I didn't know anything about it. And but I really dug Metal Gear, the original NES Metal Gear, because I was a huge G.I. Joe fan, as those of you that have watched my channel in the past know. Still am a huge G.I. Joe fan, and you can't help but, especially when it comes to the original NES version of Metal Gear, you can't help but think of G.I. Joe. Because, Solid Snake, Snake Eyes, single infiltrator, fascist regime, trying to overthrow it, Cobra Commander comes to mind, all of that stuff. And I really did try to play the Metal Gear game, but man, it was hard. I tried to play it, and so dang difficult. And I remember I made some breakthroughs on it when I forget what the magazine was. It was Nintendo something, Nintendo Monthly or Weekly or whatever it was. But I remember I was at Walmart or something like that, and I saw it, and I had the Metal Gear game and had been trying to play it, and I believe I actually even I have to say, as an aside, I do prefer this Zombie Highway to the Zombie Highway 2, even though it's a bit more complex. I actually like the more abstract landscape and the simplicity of the game. I like how you can outsmart the zombies as they're trying to lurch at your car. Anyways, back to Metal Gear. So, I believe it was one of those that Nintendo magazine. I remember it. I can see it in my brain. I just can't remember the name. And they came out with it, and there was all kinds of secrets and things for the games. And I'm out of shotgun shells, aren't I? I can't get away with anything with these freaking guys. Anyways, so there was a little guide to this Metal Gear. Not everything, but a lot of the stuff that you might need. A zombie to balance out the left side. And I played it, and I managed to get far. It showed you where there was all kinds of things hidden all over the map. There was you started off with basically a pistol and a radio, and that was it. And you had to collect rations, you had to collect better weapons, because there's no way you could infiltrate this base with just what you were started out with. And you had to be really, really careful. And I'm sure there's gameplay of it on YouTube. You had to be really, really careful just of even how you navigate. It was like you're moving around an interactive map, basically. And you had to be really careful how you did it. Oh boy, item 1 of 1. Yeah, I need to go to the shop, and I'm going to play one more level here. Anyways, even with all of the secrets and whatnot from the magazines and wherever else I got info, there was no YouTube, there was no internet back then, so basically you just had to collect intel from publications to help play your video games. I still was never able to beat it until one day, somehow I found out that there was the cheat code, and the cheat code was 20 commands or something on the NES remote, and it led you immediately. No, that's not what it was. I remember what it was. It was you had to put in a code on the radio that you had with you, and once you put in this code took you immediately to the final boss level, and the final boss was super easy to beat. won the game. But you never got to see any of the other stuff. Like, you fought a tank, you fought a helicopter at one point, you fought all this other stuff. And so, like, the cheat code is kind of, like, lame to me, because, like, what's the point, you know? Of, like, to me, it would be more satisfying to play the game as it was intended without the cheat code. Like, you didn't really beat the game, in my opinion, even though I did it a bunch of times for fun, you know, staying up late on, like, a Saturday night or whatever, drinking Coca-Colas and whatever, playing it. But, anyways, that's my one take on video games. And then my other thing is, like, you know, when modern video games started coming out, you know, kind of started with the whole original PlayStation. Oh, that's what I get for not paying attention for a second. I remember I wasn't really super interested, number one, because I was I was starting to be at the age where I had my own job and everything, and, you know, people stopped buying you big ticket Christmas presents when you're 16 and 17 years old, and, you know, getting your own job and whatnot, you kind of had to start paying for your own things. But the original Resident Evil game came out, and I went over to a buddy's house one night, late at night. I had gotten off from work late, worked at a pizza place, to let you guess where, and the game was really, the original, I think it was on the PlayStation, the original Resident Evil. And I just remember, like, the very beginning, the music and everything, and I like horror movies and zombie movies, obviously, they're my favorite thing, and I just remember, like, the music was pretty haunting. And then there's that one moment where you come around the corner at the very beginning of the game, and you haven't quite discovered what exactly is wrong yet, and then you see the guy you're looking for laying on the floor, and there's something leaning over him, and he turns around, and it's this zombie with this torn face, and the graphics are probably really crappy now, you know, compared to nowadays standards, but man, it scared the crap out of me. Like, I mean, I remember jolting myself if I was watching a really good horror movie, and I will tell you that I have watched my fair share of horror movies in my day, and man, I'm really getting fun if I don't screw it up. And so anyways, like, you know, it takes a lot to scare me in a movie nowadays, more than back then, because I haven't watched as many. I definitely seen my fair share. So, and then I played Resident Evil. I can't remember if it was 2 or it was 3, but I remember it had 3 CDs or whatever, and it was on the PlayStation again. And I had a PlayStation, and my buddy actually bought the game. He didn't have a PlayStation, but we were best friends, and he bought it. And then we bought the guide to it, and the guide told you everything to do. It wasn't quite like cheating, it was more like you had a map of the territory so that you could navigate, so you weren't, like, lost in the wilderness, because this game was way more complex, obviously, than Metal Gear Solid, or whatever that game was called. I think it was called Metal Gear Solid Snake, Metal Gear, whatever. But we played that game. We had a couple of bottles of Pepsi, and I was working at a pizza place, and we had a large cheese pizza, pepperoni or whatever. Get off me. And we played that game all night long. I think we finally stopped at like 5:30 or 6:30 in the morning, which I'm not a person that likes to stay up late at night. And back in my teenage years, that's probably the only time when I could do it. Like, I go to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, even on a weekend now. I'm an old man. But we played that game all through the night. We couldn't stop. It was like I remember it was right when video games were getting really good. The graphics were starting to be super believable, but they weren't anywhere like they are now. I mean, they would be crappy compared to nowadays standards, and it was like we were inside of a movie. It was like if you could imagine being in Night of the Living Dead, or and actually a better analogy would be the original Alien movie. Even though zombies aren't anywhere near as terrifying as aliens, it's more like that because now. So anyways, that's my take on zombies. I do appreciate this original Zombie Highway a lot more. I like the abstract landscape. I know I just said that a little while ago, but here's what I like about it, and maybe this is what I like about that Resident Evil game a lot more, is that more is left to your imagination. It's the fact that it's not super high resolution. Oh, that was really bad of me. I wonder if I could have gone all the way around to the right. Probably not. The fact that it's not super high resolution, it kind of like, it's like a dream. You know, you can't see, when you wake up from a dream, you can't like see everything like a photograph. You know, you can't recall it like that. It's kind of more like impressions. And so when you're playing this, your imagination is kind of filling in the blanks, and it's almost more real in a way than the super high res. It's less boring. Like, see, that's what the thing about video games is. The reason why I don't play modern video games is because they're so detailed and ornate that they're really boring. This is great. Like, you can't see past the horizon. You can't really see what's up with these cars. You can't see them. You can't see what's up with the zombies. Like, you know, obviously they're naked for all intents and purposes. They're not wearing clothing or anything like that. Super low res. And they're like that in Zombie Highway 2, the game that I played just a little while ago, the upgraded version of this, but I like this a lot. I like how you can see the broken out window on your SUV. And the SUV's just, it's like you're in like some sort of broken out Escalade here. I gotta use my bullet. Probably good to... Whoa, did you see the blood squirting out of the top of that guy? No! Alright, that's probably enough for this video. No, it's probably really long, but anyways, I'll be back again soon with another video. Bye-bye.